All right, guys.
Do I look skinny?
Yeah, you're looking good. You started your New Year's challenge already?
Not yet.
No. All right.
I shaved my mustache, so it's not on my lips.
It's looking good.
Thanks.
When's the beard coming off?
See, I can't now because it's kind of my forte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do it?
No.
Really?
I'm just gonna keep rocking
You're
it.
gonna, I like
Yeah.
it.
Plus, I don't know if my wife can take another chubby 13-year-old on.
Every year, Ben, he shaves his beard off, so he's just.
Wait, are we rolling right
We're
now? This is
rolling
going
right
in
now.
great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I look like a chubby 13-year-old when I shave this off.
Oh man.
So.
Okay, we're keeping that in there. So, welcome to the Buff Show. Today we got Ben Larson in the house. This is gonna be a good one.
It is.
We're gonna talk about the 3 reasons why you'd want to move to Morgan Valley and the 3 reasons why you wouldn't want to. Pros and cons. So, and you're a Morgan native. Were you born and raised there?
So that's the funny thing. I was not born and raised there. I've been there for about 25 years now, and I am still considered an implant. So,
Really?
Yep.
And I was an implant. I moved to Morgan when I was like 12, 13, 14-ish. So I did junior high and high school in Morgan. So
we went to school together.
We did go to school together. So we're going to talk about why we love it and maybe some things to look out for if you're wanting to move there and just the pros and cons of it.
Well, and when we were preparing for this, I had kind of a hard time like, oh, what are the pros of Morgan? And I'm like, it's just all I've known. I've moved out a little bit when I was college age or gave it the college try, but it wasn't until today when I was going down Riverdale Road 3 days before Christmas when I really realized one of the greatest things about Morgan is it's still a small town.
Right.
And it's kind of a hub when I need to get to the big cities or if I want to get to the lakes and different things. It's central to all of that, but I don't have to live in the big cities.
You know, I'm surprised you're even on here talking about this because Ben's not one to be like, oh, hey, come move by me.
That is true too. And that is one of the beauties of Morgan is, and the cons. I guess we'll get to the cons.
We'll get to the cons,
but Morgan is, if you're more than 3 or 4 cars deep, it's a hectic day in Morgan for me. So getting down below the valley, it's hard.
So this was funny because I was in Riverdale yesterday and my kids were running some errands. I had all 3. We just had a baby. So the baby was home with car, 3 kids in the car with me, and they were hungry. We were in Riverdale, and I'm like, no way in heck am I stopping at the McDonald's in Riverdale. I'm like, I'll wait till we get to Morgan. Got to Morgan,
got one now.
And there's a McDonald's there, but it was like nobody in the drive-through. Like it was pretty not busy.
Right.
And I'm like, that's perfect. That's why I came to Morgan to go. I wasn't going there for the McDonald's, but that's why I went to the McDonald's in Morgan was just because it was there's less people.
There's less people. That's all the case point. I mean, we got a McDonald's now, so we're on the map. You know, that's fresh for us.
There's not a stoplight.
There's not a stoplight.
I mean, it probably will be coming soon.
I tell you what the hardest thing is they're starting to pull out the yield signs and put stop signs in. And I don't know if they're trying to get money for the county or what, but I got the other day.
Did you?
Yes.
Yielding at the stop?
I wouldn't even call it a yield. You know, yields are you look both ways before you just go.
You just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he got me and he straight said, Did you even try? And I was like, No. Do you?
This was a yield.
Yeah.
Now it's a stop.
So luckily I didn't get a
fast ones on you.
Luckily I didn't get a ticket because he's from Morgan and he's like, yeah, that used to be a yield. You're right. Have a good day.
Yeah, that's funny.
But.
Yeah, it is changing. I think they definitely need one in Mountain Green. Like if you're by Old Farm, that gas station there coming down after a ski day, like oh my gosh, everybody going back to like Salt Lake or Ogden or wherever. Well, like it gets busy over there. That
kind of goes to that. One of the second pros of Morgan is we talk about that hub, but that is one thing we have a lot of people that pass through the bottom side of Mountain Green there to go up toward all the ski resorts and stuff. So we are seeing infrastructure going down there though. Yeah. So it's going to be better soon.
Yeah. So it's a rural hub spot. One of the main reasons, like I liked how you coined that. It's like a hub, meaning it's a rural hub. Like you're close enough to everything that you need, but still have like that small town country feel. So like if you want to go to Salt Lake, you're less than an hour away. Riverdale is what, 20?
About 20, 25 minutes for the most
I
part
mean,
of Morgan County.
Depending on where you're at. That's why people love Mountain Green.
Mountain Green is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get to South Ogden and the neighborhood Walmart and stuff in 7-8 minutes.
Yeah, it's bizarre. So it is a pretty amazing hub spot, and I guess that's why, Wasatch Peaks is going in there. Like, they're going to have that new exit, and they're like, I mean, incredible. They can probably be to the airport in not 30 minutes, but 40 minutes. I'll bet they can be there.
Most of those people fly in helicopters to their house.
That's true.
from the airport or from a private air, so.
Yeah. But not too far. I mean, we were just talking about Ogden Valley, and Ogden Valley is a little bit further away. I mean, there's a lot of like doctors and just white collar people in Mountain Green that like that living because they're close and they're within that radius of where they need to be, but they're still close to hospitals and all their work.
What really helps it is we have, and this is what kind of separates us from Ogden Valley, is we have 84 running right to the valley. And then 89 as soon as we come out of Weber Canyon on the Wasatch Front. Yeah. Which it runs you, a good section of I-15 you don't have to deal with heavy traffic. So
you can almost be like, do you even have to go through a stoplight to get to the airport?
You have one, not counting the airport's craziness, you have one stoplight from Morgan to the airport.
That's bizarre.
So
that is crazy. So amazing hub spot.
So, secondly, the reason why I love to live up there is the culture, right? Everyone talks about the small town feel. For example, like that officer that pulled me over for blowing through a yield sign. He knew me. He knew that used to be a yield sign. He's like, oh, yeah. Like, hey, now you know you're not going to get off next time. But it was, wasn't an interrogation. Everything was great. Yeah. Everyone knows everyone up there. Yeah. Another thing, too, your kids just, it feels safe. Yeah. Your kids get along, and there is, Utah has a pretty predominant religion here, but in Morgan, it's a really good mix, and nobody really sticks one way or the other. Well, for example, me and you. Yeah. I'm not super religious, and, you're a little more religious than I, but we went to high school together. We hung out here and there, and now I can't get rid of you.
We're still hanging out together. So. Yeah. Yeah, no, it is like you said, it has still those small town values. A good culture, like work ethic. A lot of the kids are still doing farm work and work hard working kids.
Morgan, the joke was back when I was in the construction industry is Morgan was the hard working farm. Really? So you'd farm the Morgan boys out and gals because they knew how to work, and that's the ones that hey, I'm hiring this kid from Morgan, and they knew.
They're like, that's a good one.
Yeah, he or she's gonna rock it. So
that's funny. Yeah.
A real good base up there.
And I think you see that in the sports, right? Oh, yeah, the wrestling and volleyball and football team. Like Morgan's always done pretty well in all the sports and stuff like that. So definitely like the community in Morgan is, that's why a lot of people want to move there. Right. It's pretty awesome. And thirdly, it's just like the setting. It's hard finding places that are just beautiful and rural. Yeah, that you just have amazing mountain views. You don't get the inversion. You you turn out at night. You walk out and you can see the stars at night. It's just a pretty place to live.
Wildlife still heavily incorporated in and around people's homes. Yeah, whether they like it or not. You turkey to elk, deer.
Well, the bear going through
the bear. Yeah. Yep.
There was a bear running through the middle school. Was it last year?
Last year, it climbed a tree and they had to tranquilize it and take it out of town because
crazy.
Yeah, got hungry and came down into the trees. I promise it's a safe place for your kids.
The mountain lions. Yeah, yeah. Well, when I was living there, we had to bring in a mountain lion trapper guy to come up and trap some mountain lions because they were getting after. There were this guy had some horses in the pasture next to our place, and the horses had claw marks down their back ends.
Oh my gosh.
From a mountain lion. So, but that was like 15 years ago. But yeah, so the three pros to living in Morgan, rural hub spot, the community, culture, the values, and then just the setting, like small town living.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk about some of the cons.
Well, because you have those three things, and those are really hard. They seem simple, but those are really hard things to find.
Yeah.
Because of that, you have a need and a want to live in that community.
Yeah.
So the growth is coming.
Right.
Whether we all battle it or we don't or we embrace it, it's on its way. So that's a hard part.
Yeah, it's like once you're there, you don't want anybody else to come.
Yeah, and that's the going phrase is when you move into Morgan, you try to close the door behind you.
Yeah.
That causes a lot of contention throughout the county, and it's true because it's such a beautiful place and you want to preserve that, but that growth is somewhat inevitable, and that's just something we have to deal with. And and everyone does what they can to try to preserve it, but it is what it is when it comes to growth.
Just to be aware of. And I think, like when you compare Morgan to Ogden Valley, I would say Morgan's ahead of Ogden Valley on the growth scale. Like Wasatch Peaks is going in, like massive community there. And then you have all the infrastructure and development going on in Mountain Green. In Morgan, we just got a hotel or a motel. Is it a motel or hotel?
I would say hotel because it goes up. Is that the indicator?
I don't know the indicator. Yeah, I guess.
It's got a pool though.
McDonald's.
McDonald's is a big one.
Yeah.
That one's heavy.
That
we have a liquor store too.
Yeah.
If you're all wondering.
Browning.
Browning. Yeah, Browning Arms is up there. We actually got an ice. One of the old dairies up there opened up an ice cream shop right there on Old Commercial Street.
Oh, so really? I have not been there.
An ice cream shop now too.
That's sweet. Yeah, it's got a lot of good.
It is growing. Whether it's good and bad. You got to take the good with the bad. Everybody wants something to eat past 8:00 at night, but then we're mad when people move in because we have places to eat past 8:00 at night.
Right.
It is. It's a hard pill to swallow.
But I think you're going to see a lot of development especially over in Mountain Green, over that way. And just with like the middle school and elementary school that they put in over there, which is crazy.
Well, and they just redid the high school and expanded it, 4 years ago?
Right. Which has been amazing because we didn't have the Trojan Center.
Trojan Center. The school they have a whole story they're not even using.
Yeah.
They do sports practice in them right now in an empty warehouse. That's what they utilize it for.
Crazy. It's smart that they're preparing for the growth, though, that's going to be there.
Con 2, and I'm going to tie this in with Con 1, is Morgan's expensive.
Yeah.
Because it's desirable.
Yeah.
Not only to purchase a property and live there, but just to live there in general. It's expensive. You got to really hit property taxes to really go other places. To get everything into Morgan, it's expensive while it's there.
Yeah.
So you have to travel to go to your Costco's and your Sam's Clubs and different things like that.
Yeah, and I'd say the value-wise, you're, a couple $100,000 more for the same house that you could get just on the other side of the mountain.
100%.
Typically, it's because, you might have better views or more land or things like that, and there's just less inventory in Morgan all around.
Sure.
So,
and I think that's that amount that you just put a monetary value on that culture that people want in Morgan.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So,
and the third con is the lack of public lands. And I
will say, yeah, I agree.
And I think this will be a good conversation for me and Ben to have because I grew up in Morgan too. I now live in Eden, but like Ogden Valley, Eden, Huntsville, Liberty, like within 5 minutes, I can be on 5 different trails, whether it's dirt biking or mountain biking or running or hiking on either side of the valley. Like there's just, hundreds of miles of public trails. And I felt like when I lived in Morgan, it was like I could head over to Basin, but that could be 20 minutes, depending on where you live or more, 15 to 20 minutes. And then you have like the M.
Sure. You have a couple state ground properties and stuff, but not, these are all just conservation properties that they allow you to hike and hunt and very minimal use on, nothing like the Ogden Valley.
Right.
And it's hard, this is why it's not really a contention point for me and him to agree on this, but he was saying if you don't own it, you don't get to use it. Part of that culture back in the day is when we grew up, just about every homeowner out there, it was, ride your dirt bikes, horses, take off. And times are kind of changing. People have become sue happy, and a lot of that stuff's gone away, which is unfortunate, but understandable. So
yeah. Well, I grew up like snowmobiling all of Wasatch Peaks. They'd be like, hey, you
I bet you didn't even know who owned it.
No. Well, it was CWMU and Earl Holding and like these other guys. And like in the wintertime, it's like you can't do any damage, right? Climb a tree or something. But yeah, we just snowmobiled that whole range, which that was amazing.
And
nowadays you can't do that.
Well, and a lot of the public lands up there are landlocked by private.
Yeah, but you have East Canyon, Pineview,
Lost Creek.
Creek.
When we say the hub, it not only to the big cities and those commodities, you're 20 to 30 minutes, which in where I grew up there, 20 to 30 minutes that's nothing.
Right.
That's a quick jaunt.
Yeah.
You're 20 to 30 minutes to almost any recreation that you do want to do.
Right.
It's not necessarily out your back door,
right,
but it's 20 to 30 minutes away.
Right. Which is nice. Like, and I think that's where some people prefer Morgan Valley over Ogden Valley. It's closer to like the airport and like the bigger, the shopping and stuff like that. And they might not care that they don't have a trail or a ski resort right out their backyard. And that's really, I mean, the two valleys are very similar, but I feel like there's quite a bit of differences in just living there. And I'd say you get a lot more like second homeowners and vacationers in the Ogden Valley.
Absolutely.
Versus Morgan, it's all local.
Morgan took a longer, harder stance on not wanting to grow, the good old boy plan, which has been great.
Yeah.
And I feel the Valley, it blew up a lot quicker with resort style, that feel, obviously, with ski resorts right in your backyard. However, I think in the last few years, Morgan's succeeded Ogden Valley as far as planning and doing it right with the infrastructure, getting another grocery store coming in.
Yeah.
Mountain Green has obviously been a boom point down there.
Yeah.
So
well, it seems like everybody in Morgan, like in Ogden Valley, I feel like everybody is contentious because it's more one. Morgan, it kind of feels like there's two hub spots. You have Morgan and Mountain Green, and everybody's like on board with the plan that Mountain Green is going to be a big hub spot, commercial wise and everything like that. And it's not really in anybody's. I mean, there's some backyards that it is in, but it's kind of in between the freeway and Old Highway.
Sure.
And so it seems like it's just less invasive there, maybe.
I'm going to point out that these are opinions expressed only by me and Peyton. We're not talking for anybody.
No. Yeah. We are not.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're not. This isn't brokerage wide. This is just me and Ben having a conversation of two people that grew up here and are kind of
still like part of both communities.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, I mean, overall, Morgan is an amazing spot to live, raise a family, work, play. Like it's an awesome spot. There, the ground there and the views you can capture from some of the properties, like the community. It's an amazing place to live. Is my like having lived there, sold there, worked with, like I have tons of friends and family that live in Morgan. It's a special place. Like there's incredible people there, and I think the pros highly outweigh the cons. It's just getting there can be the tricky spot. Like there's so many people just wanting to get into Morgan, and like you said, the cost, the supply, the inventory, there's just not a lot of options. Once you're there though, people never really want to leave.
Yeah, people never want to leave once they're there. And the running joke in Morgan is the people who do leave are the ones who are coming back. You know, they went off to college. You know, we were all young once, and we went and lived somewhere cheap down below, found an apartment, something like that. And then the second we grew up a little bit, we're all like, man, how do we get back up there?
Right.
Like I'm not as tough as young as I once thought I was. I want to go back up where it's quiet. There's not traffic.
So what do you, you see yourself staying in Morgan for a long time?
You know, right now we've got a lot of family that's tying us to Morgan right now. Well, my wife has a lot of family, and it's become like my family too because I had to marry her. Yes, I mean, Morgan's growing, and I'm okay with it. Don't love it. I'm okay with it. I've, taken my lumps with my sugar. If it gets too much bigger, then I'd maybe think about leaving Morgan, but it would be a pretty drastic leave. Yeah. And I think it would be a long time coming. It's a great spot to raise my kids. Yeah. We kind of started over, and we still have a 6-year-old. So I want him to grow up there. I want him to be able to shoot guns, ride 4-wheelers, break his arm a couple more times, that kind of thing, Right. And I don't feel like you don't get that full experience in other places.
No, I agree 100%. It's a pretty special spot.
What about you? Are you ever coming back over to the light side?
I am loving Ogden Valley actually, but it's still. I hear the call.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, and I hear the call. I'm getting curious about the Ogden Valley.
See, I love it there, and I'd say the biggest factor for me is just the recreation, like like we're teaching our kids to ski, and we're 3 minutes from Nordic right now. So like I
Exactly.
can get home at 7 and go catch an hour of night skiing with my kids. Like, so that part is cool. And like Nordic gives out free kid passes up till the age of 12.
Kind of the same thing. It's not necessarily you that's holding you there. It's what it does for a family unit.
Yeah.
Both these places.
Yeah.
That's what holds people into these areas.
But like I have an aunt and uncle that live in Morgan, and they have 7 acres and they have cows and horses. Like if I had something like that in Morgan, for sure, that would be. So it's just, I think for us right now in our family situation, Ogden Valley's been awesome. Mountain biking, dirt biking, hiking, and we found a sweet place there. But we were honestly looking in Morgan and Eden. We just ended up finding the right spot in Eden that worked for us. So I would have bought in either one of them, but for sure, I feel like we planted the arrow stuck in the valley, so in Ogden Valley. So that's where we're at.
You didn't waste time getting ready and getting that place built up real nice too.
No, it's been fun. But I think you couldn't go wrong with either one of them. And like we said, we wanted to cover pros and cons, and the pros highly outweigh the cons. So if you guys are looking in either one of those areas, Morgan or Ogden Valley, I mean, Ben's really your Morgan Valley expert, and I know the valley like the back of my hand.
But I'm cooler, so keep that in mind.
Ben's got a way better beard. I'm trying to catch up.
It's
with
getting
him.
there.
I mean, it's getting there.
I don't have a 6-pack though.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah. So you can pick between us
and nobody else. So keep that in mind.
No other agents in our office, just us. But anyways, hope you guys found this informative and helpful, and reach out to us if you have any questions.
Oh, hit the mic.